Hey, before we start today's show, we ask that you go like us on the podcast platform of your choice, or preferably even write us a glowing review. It would really help us climb in the ranks, and yeah, you can be a kind of witness to how much you enjoy the show to other people who are considering listening. Okay, and now on with our second season.
Virtue, I say, both creates the bond of friendship and preserves it. For virtue is complete harmony. In her is permanence. In her is fidelity. And when she has raised her head and shown her own light to others, she moves toward it and in turn receives its beams. As a result, love or friendship leaps into flame. For both words are derived from the word meant to love. Welcome to Hot Takes on the Classics, your gossipy gallop through the best books ever written. I am Emily Maeda, and I'm joined by Tim McIntosh. And that quote, beautiful quote, was taken from the book On Friendship by Marcus Tullius Cicero. Tim, tell us about Cicero.
Cicero, Emily, is one of the great, for me, one of the great souls in like Western history. Absolutely
really
incredible man. And this book is really outstanding. It has made me think about my closest friendships, my most enduring friendships. I thought a lot about you. I thought about friends that I have known like since college. And I think this book is, I think it really probes something really profound about why we choose certain friends, why certain friends don't last that long, even though it seems like we have plenty in common with them. Mm-hmm. So I actually wanted to start by asking you to think about like a really good friend of yours. I know some of your really good friends. I want you to think about how you met. You don't need to use their names unless you wanted to. What drew you to each other and why you have remained friends. Because this book on friendship, I think you're going to find your best friend and your relationship to your best friend in this book. Can you talk about one of your friends in that way? Like, how did you guys meet? What bonded you to this person? Why have you remained friends?
I'm thinking about a number of friends. I can think about you, actually. There's a moment where you feel like, they really understand, right? I'm just thinking of the unexpected. It also comes to you somewhat unexpectedly, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. That's a quality that I'm thinking of a few good friends in that how we met was really unexpected and felt like it was a gift that fell out of heaven. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know that like I could never have predicted it or looked for it? And actually those times when I have looked for it or thought, oh, this person is going to be a really great friend, I've usually been wrong.
Uh-huh. Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my friend Todd. You have met Todd. You met him at my wedding.
Yeah.
One of my dearest friends for the longest time. Exact same sort of scenario. We met in a Bible study, and about 30 minutes in, I was like, who is this guy? I love this guy. Mm-hmm. And we were with a bunch of other friends of ours, and we ended up like talking like the whole rest of the time.
Yeah.
And kind of from that day forward, we've just been bound together.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I think, and I wonder if this is true about the friendships that you were describing, I think it oftentimes begins in a sort of, I'm not going to call it superficial way, but I can't think of a better word. It begins with like, oh, we both like gardening.
X, Y,
we both
and Z.
like hockey,
yes.
Or whatever it is. But it rarely stays there for very long.
Right. Yeah, in on the Four Loves, in this section on philia and friendship, Lewis says, he has something in there about, you have this experience of, oh, you too? Right?
Yes, right.
Right?
Right.
So everything, I'm thinking of my dear friend Amy when I met her as a newlywed and we were at her house for dinner, and you go to lots of people's houses for dinner. But everything that kept coming up, it was, oh, you too?
Really?
Oh, You too, right? And it's a thing of all of these things that I have felt, you have felt too, right?
Yeah. This book touches on that. It addresses that. It kind of, I don't want to, it almost diagnoses that. Before we get there, though, I want to talk about Cicero. Cicero he's kind of a hero of mine.
Is he a hero of yours?
Oh, I love him. I don't know him as well as I feel like I know someone like Socrates, also a hero of mine. But every time I think about Cicero, like I get this warm spot in my chest.
That is so funny.
Roman statesman, born 106, died 43 BC. So we're like, dies a generation before Christ is born. He is probably best remembered for two things. First, he might be the greatest writer of Latin prose that there is.
I think that's what he's mainly known for. And every Latin student has to translate Cicero a lot.
Is that part of the reason that you're like kind of over Cicero? Is because you
No.
translate
Well,
so
a little
much?
bit. A little bit. His Latin prose is hard. It's also beautiful.
Second thing he's known for is he is a defender of Republican ideals. He is a statesman. So he famously uncovered a plot against the Roman Republic known as the Catiline conspiracy. So Catiline is this really disgruntled aristocrat who's got tons of debt on his back, and he wants a high office that he can't get. So what does he do? He recruits some other aristocrats who are also disgruntled, some soldiers, and some heavy debtors, and he launches an armed insurrection.
Okay, hold on. That's the official telling of it. There are the unofficial tellings of it.
You believe in the, like, you're a are you a Catiline truther?
Yeah. Well, just a little bit in my in discussing this with a Latin professor that I had. We discussed this a lot because, you know, maybe just maybe, but I don't want to what am I doing? I'm what's my word?
Demystifying?
Yeah, what's the other word? Anyway, I am demystifying Cicero for you, so I feel a little bit bad because I want you to keep the warm spot in your heart. So let's just keep going.
Are you sure? I think, like, no, say that. Now is the moment. I can handle it.
The Catiline conspiracy, like Catiline, there were real issues in the Roman Republic that maybe Cicero wasn't really facing. So I appreciate his defense of Republican ideals, and yet there were things that needed to be addressed that weren't really getting addressed.
That is going to be a great segue into my hot take.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad I set you up.
Thank you. You put it on a tee for me. So Cicero launches a series of speeches. He exposes the plot. He puts it down.
And they're
amazing.
amazing.
Of the Republic.
They're amazing.
Right.
In Latin.
Absolutely.
The Latin prose, his rhetorical skill, they're amazing.
Are they really? I've not read them in Latin. I've read them in translation.
Yeah, they really are. They're very, okay, well, I mean, not for a lot of people, but I thought they were very hard to translate. Anyway.
The Roman Republic, I just want to kind of place it in history. Rome starts as a monarchy. 7 kings. They're kind of like a ragtag band of soldiers, and they grow and they conquer and they become really mighty. They have this terrible king, Tarquinius Superbus, who are like, we are so sick of these kings. Let's start a republic. They probably didn't have words for it but they start something that has a kind of divided power structure. And this republic is actually the model for the American Republic, much, much more so than like any sort of Greek democracy ideals were. The founding fathers looked toward the Roman Republic. And Cicero is there near the end of the Roman Republic. Actually, you could probably say like he's there at the Roman Republic's demise, right?
Yeah, he's at the end.
Do you remember how he is killed, Emily?
He's killed in the Senate, isn't he?
Oh, I can't remember where he was killed. I just remember his head and nails are cut off.
Yeah.
And nailed to the speaker platform in the Roman Forum. Like it goes badly when you speak the truth to power. Let's just be very real.
Right.
About it.
That's why you like him. Because
it is. Exactly.
Because he stands up for the ideal and he's willing to pay for his life.
That is a source of constant admiration for me.
Yeah.
He dies at the hands of Mark Antony's faction.
Yeah, and Mark Antony, he's a loser. Come on,
Mark Antony is trouble.
Let's just be honest.
Maybe
about
the giver of two of the greatest speeches in the English language by Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's
But he's
Shakespeare.
trouble. By Shakespeare. Emphasis on Shakespeare.
It's only because he had Shakespeare.
Cicero, deeply influential on Western thought. Eloquent, all about civil virtue, and he has a tragic death, and he becomes a sort of emblem for a life well lived and dying for a noble cause. Now, there is something eerily similar between Cicero's world, late Roman Republic, and our world. I'm going to read one little paragraph by a book called Christianity and Classical Culture by Charles Norris Cochrane. It kind of makes the hair stand up on the back of my head. For Cicero, says Cochrane, there was little or nothing to choose between the extremists of the right and those of the left. In his eyes, both alike are furiosi, or madmen, consumed with lust for power. Cicero imagined, instead, a social and political life as a complex series of obligations, but the most fundamental being faith in the existence of a realm of truth independent of material flux.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Need we say more?
Need we say more? So Cicero is, if you ask what did Cicero believe, it's not an easy answer.
Yeah.
You can't just say, oh yeah, he's a Stoic. He's kind of a mashup of several things. When I think of Cicero, I think, like, more than anything else, his moral outlook, his religious outlook is Roman. It's like the very, very best thing that Rome produced.
He's the best that Rome could produce, right?
That's right.
He's the quintessence of Rome.
He mashes up Epicureanism, Stoicism, Aristotelianism, Stoic rationalism, and, like, under his hands, they're just extraordinary. What comes out is just extraordinary. This book on friendship is written as a dialogue, kind of a popular form in the ancient world.
It really is a popular form.
Very popular. It also makes reading today a little bit clunky at the beginning because you're like, wait,
who's talking?
Who is Laelius? Who is Scipio? So when you're reading it, if you can kind of quickly get past those introductory paragraphs and get into, like, the real meat of the book, you'll find the reading to be easier. The dialogue is between Laelius, known for his wisdom and his virtue, and Laelius is in mourning. He's mourning the death of his friend Scipio. This is not, by the way, the Scipio that did battle with Hannibal. This is a different Scipio. It was a more popular name during the time. So I'm going to refer to the thoughts from this book as if they were coming from Cicero, but in Cicero's book, they're oftentimes being spoken by Laelius. Okay. Throughout the book, Cicero, Laelius, they're speaking about a kind of everyday sort of virtue. So don't think like this kind of like cold, regal, philosophical virtue. They're like an everyday virtue. So here's a quote. Let us use the word virtue in the ordinary way and meaning, and not using high-flown language. We need not trouble ourselves about these ideal characters which are nowhere to be met. I love that. It's like a very grounded sense of virtue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's virtue meaning like what accords with who we were meant to be, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's not sort of pursed lips. It's like it's a human excellence.
We mentioned before that when we met each other, when we've met friends that weren't yet friends, there's a kind of sense pretty quickly, this is my kind of person. Mm-hmm. What Cicero says is, and Cicero recognizes that, he says, the primary cause of friendship, the primary cause of friendship is a kind of natural inclination, which causes one person to feel affection for another who possesses virtue. So this is key for him. It's like you might have a natural inclination for somebody, but if it's really going to last, there has to be this kind of bond of virtue. Friendship, says Laelius, is probably the greatest gift that the gods have given us, except for wisdom. Wisdom is probably the only thing that supersedes it. Quote, "Now friendship may be thus defined: a complete accord on all subjects, human and divine, joined with mutual goodwill and affection. And, with the exception of wisdom, I am inclined to think nothing better has been given to man by the immortal gods. So numerous are the blessings of friendship, it gives us bright hopes for the future, and forbids weakness and despair. In the face of a true friend, a man sees, as it were, a second self, so that where his friend is, he is. And if his friend be rich, he is not poor. Though he be weak, his friend's strength is his. And in his friend's life, he enjoys a second life after his own is finished."
That's such a famous quote, right? A true friend is a second self.
Yeah.
That really has permeated through the ages our thinking on friendship.
Laelius spends time describing his friendship with Scipio, and he says their bond, it's not based on utility. It's based on shared values. And so one of the key things that he's emphasizing is that, like, friendship is a matter of character. It's not a matter of convenience.
Yeah. Or what you can get out of it, right?
This brings us to something you brought up a little bit earlier. Cicero makes a claim, and I wonder if you agree with it, Emily. The claim is this: true friendship, he says, can only exist among the good, among people who possess virtue and moral integrity.
Moral integrity,
quote,
that's a good word.
Yeah, it is. The quote is this: "But I must at once lay down this principle. Friendship can exist only between good men." Is it true?
Well, I do think it's true. I was thinking of certain people in leadership in our country right now.
Okay.
There was an epic falling out over social media. Can you just imagine what Cicero might have to say about?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, I can imagine, and it would be tremendous. Where is Cicero when we need him?
Right.
But the relationship that fell apart, it did seem to speak to this reality of utility, right? And that each thought they were using the other for their own ends.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, right? Because these other things, greed, power, militate against moral integrity. I do think it's true.
I do think it's true also.
Friendship in their definition, which is self-offering, right? Because other forms of relationship or bond are like self-enriching. And so this aspect of the self-emptying that good friends give to one another has to exist between men and women committed to the good.
In the relationship that you described earlier between these two prominent people, like everybody kind of predicted that this was going to happen, right? Like nobody is surprised by this.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's because, like, I think deep down people kind of recognize what Cicero is saying is true.
Yes.
Like, friendship requires. Here's the quote from Cicero. "We mean by the good those whose actions and lives leave no question as to their honor, purity, equity, and liberality, who are
Let's just
free
stop
from
there.
greed." Yeah.
Let's just stop there.
But it gets
can
better.
you read that again?
Right. "Who are free from greed, lust, and violence, and who have the courage of their convictions. For such men, there is in everything a steadfastness and a consistency, both in character and in purpose. And it is from this is the thing, this is the key.
Yes.
It is from this that the stability and permanence of friendship arrive. Without virtue, friendship cannot exist at all. And so, it is not only the noblest, but also the most lasting bond of friendship that is formed when men of congenial character are found to possess a moral and virtuous nature.
Yeah.
It does kind of speak for itself.
You could just read it again.
I know.
But you probably shouldn't. That might make for boring podcasting.
I think the thing that kind of clangs off your ears, that makes you wonder if it's true when he says only good people can have friendship. But you're like, wait. I know plenty of people that are not known for their integrity, but they have friends, right? But I think Cicero would say something like, well, yeah, do they? They have acquaintances.
They have
people that they spend time with.
Yeah.
But as far as like a lasting bond,
right,
it requires something. It requires character. It requires, and from that character, give rise to the stability and permanence that is friendship.
Right. 100%. Yeah, and that's the whole. He's being very careful in a very helpful Roman way to define terms. So he says, between good men, here is what I mean by good. This is what qualifies as a good man. Because he's saying, and also this is what friendship is. Because you can have lots of relationships, but they don't rise to the standard. So, I mean, maybe this is a bit of a criticism of us. We use friendship, we use love, we use all of those things very freely, but for Cicero, it really only applies to a few relationships.
Yeah, that's right.
Would you agree?
Right. Yep, I think that's exactly right.
So we use friend. I mean, Lewis kind of says this too, that you have lots of people who you have camaraderie with, but camaraderie is not the same thing as friendship. So camaraderie is more the relationship built upon association, right? Like we all want to educate our children together, and that's our friendship. But it's really one of camaraderie, not. It doesn't rise to the level that Cicero wants friendship to rise to.
I think about some of my coworkers. I love working with my coworkers, but sometimes we'll get outside of work because I do a lot of travel. And we'll be at the Delta Club, and I'll think, there's just a limit here. And it's not a criticism at all. It's it's just reality.
Yeah, exactly. And it's we would do better to accept that reality more. I think that's what Cicero would also encourage us towards. Wouldn't you?
I think so too.
You don't. That this is, since it is more rare. I'm speaking to myself because I think in my younger years I was too I didn't heed the warning of it being rare, right? So you give too much to too many, which he also has some things to say about.
Emily, I'm going to just give a few nuggets from the book before I go into my hot take. Before you choose a friend, consider carefully.
Okay, there you go.
Once you have chosen, act with constancy and loyalty. I was thinking, I'm going to go off topic for just a second. There's a great quote that Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote in a letter to his sister when she was engaged. And I hope I can remember it well, but the gist of it is this. Until now, sister, your love has carried you to marriage. And it's the cause of your marriage. But now, once entering upon marriage, it is the marriage that preserves the love. It's really profound. It's like it's just like Cicero is saying here. Before you choose a friend, consider it carefully. Don't fall in love with everybody.
Right.
But once you have chosen, then act with constancy and loyalty. It's like great advice. Okay, another one.
It is.
A friend is the one person you can always speak your mind to with complete freedom and receive advice without bitterness.
That's the best. That's the best.
I think you might think this next one is the best, Emily. Ready? The entire fruit of friendship, says Cicero, is in the sweetness of conversation.
100%.
Right? It's so great.
It's so great.
So great. Okay, two more. Remove friendship from life and you remove the sun from the world.
It's true. I just keep thinking about the Epic of Gilgamesh in light of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to assume that Cicero had no access to the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Right.
But that's exactly what happens for Gilgamesh when Enkidu dies, right? The sun has gone out of the world.
The sun goes out of the world.
He says something
exactly
pretty much that way. Yeah.
Last one. This is about like kind of the question about what about friends gives us strength. Quote, it is not so much help from friends as the confidence of their help that gives us strength.
That is so true.
Isn't it?
It's so true. I'm thinking of the proverb, there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother, right? That know with these people, you have the bond of family. And I don't think that proverb is speaking negatively about family so much, but just that sense that with a true friend, you know that they will be there. You don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily, before my hot take, I want to talk classical education for a second.
Great.
The Scholae Academy is now open for registration for the 2025-2026 school year. Let me tell you what the Scholae Academy is. If you're interested in classical education, maybe you've got kids and you're like, oh, I've got soccer practice, I've got ice skating lessons, I've got to do so many things. I really want an online class for my young people. Great. That's exactly what the Scholae Academy offers. Live online classes that pair classical curriculum with a pedagogy of restful learning. Scholae, Greek for restful or leisure. At the Scholae Academy, instructors foster deep engagement to cultivate learning that lasts. Emily, I taught 2 classes for Scholae Academy. I loved the kids that it attracted. I loved my colleagues. I loved the headmaster, everything about it. I can't recommend it highly enough. All sorts of classes, Latin, writing and rhetoric, American history, math foundations, and of course, classical literature. For more, go to Classical Academic Press. Okay. Emily, we've come to my hot take.
Okay.
It's
I'm
about
ready.
Cicero. Cicero, heroic figure, noble and admirable in every respect, but he lived right before 2 of the biggest cultural shifts in the history of the West. Huge, almost impossible to overestimate. Did I say that the right way?
Yeah.
One of them was the collapse of the Roman Republic. You could almost argue that when Cicero dies, the Roman Republic dies almost the same year.
Yeah, he's
the collapse
the
of
symbol
the Roman
of it.
Republic. Yeah, he is. He's like the last voice in defense of it. Mm-hmm. So the collapse of the Roman Republic and the launch of the Roman Empire, that's the first huge cultural shift. Here's the second one. The beginning of the Christian world. The Christian world, Jesus arrives a generation after Cicero and grows up in the Roman Empire. You can hear it in Luke chapter 2 from the Gospels. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. Caesar Augustus is emperor over the Roman Empire, right? 2 humongous shifts. Cicero is maybe the most articulate spokesman for the classical ideal of civilized virtue, Roman virtue, reason, law, tradition. But there's something, even this, like Cicero is the best spokesman for it, and even it cannot stand. It just cannot stand. And what rises in its place is Christianity in the Roman Empire. So just to like, you and I are big fans of a writer named Tom Holland who wrote a book called Dominion. Mm-hmm. The book Dominion kind of argues that, like, if you like it in Western culture, it probably came from Christianity. It probably didn't come from Rome. It's like Rome was an incredible civilization. But it probably came from Christianity. So a couple quotes from Tom Holland before I get to like the meat of my hot takes. Tom Holland, quote, "It is the audacity of it, the audacity of insisting that the last shall be first and the first shall be last, of claiming that God had hung on a cross, of preferring the lowly to the exalted, the weak to the strong, the oppressed to the oppressor, that explains the revolution that Christianity brought about."
Yep.
The revolution in values inaugurated by Christianity is the most disruptive, the most influential, and the most enduring in history.
Because even with all that we love about Cicero, he would never have claimed the first shall be last and the last shall be first.
Completely.
That blessed are the poor, that blessed are those who mourn. He would not have affirmed that at all.
Yeah. I remember reading that sympathy during the time of the Roman Republic, and even more during the time of the Empire, would have been considered a psychological malady.
Yeah, absolutely. Because why should you be feeling sympathy for people who deserve what they have gotten? Right?
Right.
This is, yeah.
And there is something, well, I won't go into that, but there's a deep belief that kind of like the world is the way that it ought to be.
Yeah. Right, absolutely. And that if you have achieved greatness, you should not give
you
that.
Were supposed, yeah.
Yeah, you were great. And you shouldn't be giving any of that up to support, so the saints that we admire in Christian history, like St. Francis, who gives up his wealth and position with his family to serve the lepers, nobody celebrated that. That would have been, he was out of his mind to have done that, right?
Exactly. Here's my hot take.
Okay, I want to hear it. 2-part hot take.
For me, Cicero, along with Socrates and Marcus Aurelius, were the most virtuous men that were produced by the pre-Christian Western world.
Okay.
There were other great virtuous people. Yeah. We don't have a record of them, perhaps. Like these three, for me, like top of the charts. Number 2. Not even Cicero's sophisticated virtue-based synthesis of the Roman Republic's moral and philosophical tradition could meet the deeper crises of his time.
Hey!
You were saying at the top of the show,
hey!
Right?
We didn't even compare notes on this.
We didn't.
Yeah.
So especially when compared with like this transformative vision that Christianity brings, Cicero's appeal to reason and tradition, they just can't support the Republic enough to keep it standing.
Yeah.
A quote
That's true.
from Cochrane. Quote, "Cicero's failure was the failure of the Roman Republic itself to find a foundation for life deeper than tradition and more enduring than consensus." So for Cochrane, he says that Cicero's Stoic rationalism, this kind of philosophy that he cobbles together, pales in comparison to the Christian doctrine of grace, which both critiques worldly power, right? Like, this is not satisfactory. Yeah. This is not the way the world is supposed to be. It both critiques worldly power and offers a redemptive answer to the human condition.
I love it. Now, the one last thing you have to do, which I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
You have to... Why then should we still value On Friendship by Cicero with your great hot take, which is really true? Because, I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. I hope you want to answer that question. Because sometimes that's what's said, right? Well, like any sense of virtue as being, like there's a throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So what's your defense of On Friendship, even in light of this hot take, which I agree with?
Right. Because I'm stumped except for to say, because On Friendship is true. Like it names things about friendship. It names things,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it might have come from a source outside the Christian tradition. Of course it did.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that Cicero was blind to like deep, profound truths about human psychology.
Right. Or the reality.
Absolutely saw aspects of reality that even a lot of like well-studied Christians don't see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that, because he is naming, virtue still has to be present. It's not that the revolution that Christianity brought just said, okay, hey, it's all a free-for-all, right?
Right.
These things still pertain to what's necessary. And in his naming, like the ingredients that go into a friendship, he named something that has been true forever, right?
Yeah.
And he's just putting words to it.
True from the time of Epic of Gilgamesh and even before that.
Yeah.
Emily, it's time for rapid questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cicero or the Emperor Marcus Aurelius?
Definitely Cicero. 100%.
Oh,
Cicero.
really?
100%.
I might choose Marcus Aurelius. I love Marcus Aurelius.
Are you serious?
Love
he's
him.
too dry.
Oh,
and
he's
stoic.
wonderful.
No.
Oh, he is very stoic. I've got to admit that. More likely, another 250 years of the American Republic or 250 years of an American empire?
I'm going to say, based upon current events,
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're headed more to empire than we are to republic.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I'm sad, but I think it's true. Last one. Actually, two more. A huge republic or an island-sized democracy?
Island-sized democracy.
Oh,
definitely.
Wow. Okay.
What are you going to take?
Yeah, I think I'd choose an island-sized democracy.
Okay, great.
Also.
Yeah, because look at what's happened from huge republics. It never goes well.
Last one, kind of random. This is
dear.
like pop quiz, pop culture. Bob Dylan or Bruce Springsteen?
Why are you doing this to me?
Because it's good. It's good. It's
because
intriguing. It's compelling.
I can't answer these questions because I never listened to these people when I was a young child.
Oh, you didn't?
No. But I have to say Bruce Springsteen, and that's basically because of current events. Who are you going to say? And I know a lot of people are rolling their eyes at that.
I love Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I answered the right one.
I heard Bruce Springsteen described as Bob Dylan in Elvis's body. And I think that's right.
Well, I have to say, I think he has a better voice than Bob Dylan, which is mainly the reason.
Who doesn't?
Him.
I have a better voice than Bob Dylan. Hey, everyone, thanks so much for joining us. Please tune in to our next podcast in a series on love, specifically friendship. Next episode is probably going to be about what is considered America's novel, maybe even America's best novel. Thanks to Clark Stefanik, our producer. Our music was written and performed by Tom Hagerman. Hey, Emily, I'll see you next time.
Sounds good. See you then, Tim.